Hello, today is Friday, April 22nd, 2022. My name is Lorenzo Villarreal, and I'm going to be interviewing Blanca Cardenas for South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. This part of the Voices of Pandemic Oral History Project is in partnership with the Voices of Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. Please know, Ms. Cardenas, that this recorded interview will be placed in South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville, and shared with the Voices of Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin. If there is anything you do not wish to answer or talk about, especially given that your recording may appear online, I will honor your wishes. Also, if there is something you want to talk about, please bring it up and we'll talk about it. Because we are not conducting this interview in person, I need to record you consenting, so I'll ask you a series of 6 questions. Please say yes, I agree, or no, I do not agree. After each one, there are 4 questions we need to make sure you agree to before we go on. South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville wishes to archive your interview, along with any other photographs and other documentation at the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. We will retain copyright of the interview and any other materials you donate to the South Texas Archives at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. The first question, do you give us consent to archive your interview and your materials at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville?
Yes, I do.
Question number 2, do you grant South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville copyright over the interview and any material you provide?
Yes, I do.
Number 3, do you agree to allow South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville to post this interview on the internet where it may be viewed by people around the world?
Yes, I do.
Number 4, do you grant South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville consent to share your interview and your materials with the Voices of Oral History Center at the University of Texas at Austin for inclusion in the Voices of Pandemic Oral History Project, which will include posting the interview on the internet?
Yes, I do.
Be at the South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. We will have stripped any contact information for yourself or family members, so that will not be part of your public file. Your public file will only be accessible by the Jernigan Library. 2 more questions, which are 5 and 6. Do you wish for us to share the rest of your interview and your public file available to researchers at South Texas Archives at the Jernigan Library at Texas A&M University, Kingsville?
Yes, I do.
On occasion, Voices receives requests from journalists who wish to contact our interview subjects. We only deal with legitimate news outlets. Do you give consent for us to share your phone numbers or your email with journalists?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we shall begin. This interview will be your experiences through COVID-19. So tell me a little bit about your experience with COVID-19.
Well, you know, it's been a challenging time because we've had to change the way we do things, you know, compared to pre-pandemic. And I think overall it's been challenging for everyone. I've been fortunate enough that I have not come down with COVID-19, at least not to my knowledge. But I have had family members that have been affected by that.
How did you first learn about COVID-19?
Pretty much through the media. You know, when they started announcing that, you know, there was a virus that had originated from China, and, you know, just listening to the news, I think that's pretty much, you know, I learned about COVID like pretty much everyone else did.
Mm-hmm. And what was your initial reaction to that information?
I think my biggest concern was because I know it originated, you know, in China, and my fear was that it was just going to be a matter of time when they started, you know, when the media started talking about that. I figured it's just a matter of time, you know, and the US is going to be affected by that. And to me, that was my biggest concern, that, you know, that it was going to spread rapidly.
Mm. And you knew right off the bat that it would be pretty serious, or you were kind of skeptical about it?
Well, you know, there's been other viruses that have spread, and I guess I really didn't know the extent to how serious this is going to be. But as I continued to listen to the media, you know, and you started hearing, you know, you started hearing things about people dying, and I mean, that got pretty scary. And, you know, that's when I realized this is something that's really, really serious. And it's just a matter of time before it hits us here in South Texas.
Hmm. And here we are now in 2022. Um,
Yes.
so you personally, how has it impacted you?
Personally, I have had friends and I have had family members that have passed away from COVID-19. One of my dad's half brothers passed away, and I've had some close friends that have passed away from COVID.
Mm. And what about organizations?
Um, More, are you referring to the business community?
Um, uh, well, do you go to church?
Church, no.
No.
When the pandemic hit, that it really affected the area here, pretty much, you know, a lot of businesses shut down. I, we had to change. We had to change our way of living, and so we had to resort to other measures. So as far as church is concerned, everything was being done online. You know, businesses closed. We had to find a different way of shopping, through curbside, just being more innovative and creative in the way we were doing things. And so yeah, I think, you know, I think that was the biggest part, or um, the biggest challenge that we had to adapt to was, the way we had to change things, you know, to be able to accommodate our needs, grant you, you know, things, grocery stores. I mean, they were running out of supplies. It just, yeah, there were just some very, very challenging times. I think for everyone, not just for me, but for everyone.
Hmm. And I assume it's the same thing with gathering with family and friends for important events, it's like Christmas.
During the pandemic, I would not see my family that often. I would talk to them. I'm fortunate that I live very close to them, but for their safety, and my safety, because of course, I never stopped working. I continued working during the pandemic, where a lot of people were able to work from home. Um, my job, I was not able to work from home. So, you know, I could not risk being around my family knowing that I was still working, and there was a possibility that I could, you know, I could have COVID, and I wouldn't want to pass that along to any of my family members.
Right. Going back to working, why did they keep you in person rather than online?
We were considered my line of work, and I can't remember the word right now. My line of work, we were considered a, I have it at the tip of my tongue, um, essential business. We were considered an essential business because since we would deal with the business community, we needed to make sure that, of course, businesses stayed open, that, you know, they were still thriving in one way or another. And that was by, you know, we had to be creative and help those businesses, making sure that they wouldn't shut down, that they wouldn't go out of business. So that's how we continued to work, because we were considered an essential business.
And what about the vaccination? Did your job require you get vaccinated?
No, our job, my employment did not require that I get it. But you know, for the safety of everyone, because we were still continuing, we were still working, and we were still dealing with the public in one manner or the other. You know, I'm grateful that all of my coworkers received their vaccination, and so did I. And more so me, for health reasons, I needed to make sure that I did get vaccinated, um, due to health complications. But we were very fortunate that all of the employees where I work were vaccinated.
Did you have uh, any side effects from the vaccination?
Actually, no, I didn't have any. I think the only thing I can think of is that the very, very first vaccine that I received, um, you know, I just felt a little tired and sleepy. And other than that, I was fine. The booster that I received, because I've had the first dosage, second dosage, and the third booster, and I just had a burst of energy, which was great. But yeah, I mean, as far as feeling sick, no, I never had any symptoms, never felt anything.
I could say the same. Um, now, now getting the shot, was that a hassle within itself, or was it pretty simple?
Oh no, it was very simple. Um, you know, we were fortunate that one of the hospitals, one of the local hospitals here, you know, was able to assist in vaccinating the community, and so that was fairly easy. Um, and then of course, you know, once all of the other pharmacies started carrying the vaccine, then, you know, it was even easier because I was able to go there to get my booster shot. But yeah, it was pretty simple. It wasn't complicated at all.
Now, on the news, you see all kinds of stuff, basically bashing the vaccination. Were you hesitant about getting it after everything you've seen
Not
and
at
heard?
all. I didn't even question it. And like I stated, because of the medical conditions that I have, um, I felt I needed to get it, but I didn't even question it. You know, after watching the news and seeing the numbers increasing on the number of deaths, that wasn't even in question. I knew I had to get it.
And which one did you get? The
The
Yeah,
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
I received the Pfizer. Mhm.
Okay. No, I got the Moderna.
I'm just waiting to get my fourth vaccine, or the next booster. So I'll be getting that hopefully soon.
Now, I myself will do the same, but how are you usually doing it? Are you have to make an appointment, or you do walk-ins?
No, I know several of the local pharmacies are accepting walk-ins. So it's just a matter of going in there and making sure that I get it.
Okay. What kind of concerns or questions about healthcare have emerged as a result of COVID?
Uh, okay, repeat the question. I'm sorry.
What kind of concerns or questions about healthcare have emerged as a result of COVID?
Um, I think my greatest concern would be, you know, if once you get COVID, I hear a lot that people have, you know, that after COVID or post COVID, um, that they have issues, whether it's respiratory, heart issues. And I think that's my biggest concern, that if I were to get COVID, um, would I have something, something linger, or maybe am I going to have now some health condition that's going to affect me? I mean, I think that's my biggest concern, because that's pretty much what I'm hearing now, that people that have had COVID um, have an ailment following COVID. And I think that would be my biggest concern, that if I were to get COVID, am I going to have a health issue following that? And so that's the only thing that worries me, or that's a real concern for me.
Now, being that COVID at some point had us all cooped up and locked up in our homes, um, did it impact your mental health? Did you have any challenges in regards to that?
No, I don't think so. And I tell you why. Because I think because since I continued to work, and I was going to work every day, I wasn't experiencing what other people were experiencing. I still had that interaction with people, with my coworkers. And I think that's what helped me a lot, was that I continued to have that interaction, whereas other people completely isolated themselves and didn't have the interaction with other people because they were locked up, or they were at home. They were working out of their home, and therefore didn't have that the ability to communicate with others, or mingle with them, or so I think that's what really kept me sane and really helped me, um, that I still continue to have that interaction, whereas others didn't.
I got you. Yeah, it made me appreciate talking to people on the phone a lot more. I can say that. I had to scramble around the house to find something to do, and that.
Exactly.
Mhm. Um, Now we're going to go into politics. How do you believe politics affected how COVID has been handled?
Unfortunately, I think it's divided people, because you have those that are for the vaccine, and then you have those that are against it, just like you have those that are for masking and those that are against it. So I think all of this has really divided people instead of uniting them. And, that's a shame, because, we if anything, this should have united us more, which to a certain extent it did, but it also divided us. And I in talking with people, I mean, that was a very touchy subject, because some people were really opposed to it. They were really opposed to the vaccine, to the point to where, I mean, they were losing friendships over this, because of arguments that they were having, because oh, you believe you're too to the left, you're too to the far right, and it's a shame. It's a shame that it divided a lot of people.
Okay. Um, as we near to the end of the interview, is there anything else you would like to share with me about your experiences with COVID-19 that I have not asked about?
Uh, you know, not just personally, but from seeing others that people that I know that were affected by it, like the businesses, the small businesses. I know it was they took a huge hit with that. Because it really impacted their business. I mean, some businesses closed. Others were fortunate that they were able to stay open, but because they were innovative and creative with the way they were doing business. So a lot of businesses, went to selling online instead of just selling, at a brick and mortar. Well, being that they had to close during the pandemic or businesses closed, they at least were innovative, started selling online through their website. I know restaurants started doing curbside pickup, which, that's still going on. So it was a whole different way of thinking in order to survive. And, I admire those businesses. And there were a lot of businesses that, even during the pandemic, that they still opened, new businesses came about. And so kudos to them because they found a way, you know, even through a tough time like that, to be able to progress. And, I thought that was great.
All right. Well, that concludes our interview. Thank you, Blanca Cardenas, for that.